And so we closes the end of one era as we open up another. And for that, I am saying that the best side to read, Eden Zero, was closed down for personal reasons. It's a sad end, but it's also an expected one. So let's all have a quiet moment for that. And let us all say it. Hi there. Yes, I am lying down right now because, well, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just feeling extremely lazy today. It is me, the angry anime fan, the spare reviewer, although I mostly just in review Eden Zero nowadays. Eden Zero has come back after a very long break, hopefully, and this is this chapter. It is mostly just a setup, and to basically spoil the entire chapter. Yeah, the robot that we did see, that was indeed Xenomilf, and there were some kind of interesting talk here, though. Even so let's go into the depth of the chapter. First off, a pretty nice color page detailing the two main characters and their two main sidekicks, all dressed in the black and gray. I have to say that's a very cool one. Rebecca looking fine here. Also, the anime has gotten a release date now, something along the line of 10th of April, I think. So, well, that means the rest of the cast will probably be revealed very soon, and we will, well, get it done. I still would have preferred Shiharu Sawashiro as the main character, not Takuma Terashima. But whatever, what can you do about it? Either way, in the chapter, Chris Jin is reporting back saying that Klein is acting strange, so they are heading back. And as Sister she sees her very weird movements, I'm pretty sure she's gonna put two and two together and something weird is gonna happen. So Laguna himself are going to have to back up, while of course Moscow is the one who's going to deal with the flying enemies. In fact, the sister saying this is an order, annihilate them. He says Moscow. It's a pretty nice scene. Elsewhere, the Magitech or the Otek Muller decides to take part of the brain of Wise, who is wondering what he's gonna do now, and then he says that he needs to equip his arsenal armor for that, but he also realizes that he cannot move so much. So he decides if he can use his ether power to force the suit to move, then he can move. So he forces it to assemble into him almost akin to nanomachines. With that, he manages to kick Muller away. Although he complains that the suit is still on bad mileage and that it's used more ether than usual. So well, I mean, this practically solidifies that yes, Arsenal's suit is pretty amazing, but it is also pretty impractical. Are we ever gonna get an arc that's or something that actually details why it's actually fixing the Arsenal's flaw? I mean, the reason why Arsenal always has such a flaw in all is because, well, he is a young Wise, and he is the Wise before Wise actually became, well, smart. So he's no potential, but he also learns slower. Therefore, it's very likely that Arsenal's suit will have something very slowly. I'm actually starting to wonder, though, is it possible that older Wise actually has a perfected Arsenal suit? Because given the end of the chapter, I'm actually wondering if one can mentor another. Wouldn't it be cool if the older Wise actually could mentor his younger side? Talk about twist. But in that way, young Wise would actually surpass the older Wise if the older Wise actually taught him. Because think about it, the older Wise has only gotten this knowledge because of all of his years. The younger Wise is before all that happened. So if the older Wise educates him in everything he learned, then the younger Wise lives his life. Then can you imagine what kind of intelligence he would have if he had absorbed the knowledge of his older counterpart? That would have been cool, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I was just coming on a discussion theory thing like that. Either way, he goes to Hermit and manages to calm her down, saying this is he is the friend and they're going to stop everything else. Although Hermit is still over there, but Muller is not ready to declare things yes as he pulls a level and further just shows what kind of a monster he is. As dark light actually spreads, he proclaims that he gave them instruction to become more violent. Now the machines will destroy humanity as every single robot begins to massacre their human pets. A mother, you are completely unforgivable. You need to die. I certainly hope you die this arc. So yeah, well, many other begins to run away, although some does not do it. It is very sad though that we actually see a young girl trying to run away, but she doesn't get shot because, well, luckily, luckily, Rebecca managed to save them all. But now the robots truly become crazy. But back to Shiki. The robot that is confirmed to be Cinnamilth, although he actually reveals this at the end of the chapter, shows some very nice power. He uses some techniques to make Shiki's pain go away, and saying that he merely made his pain lighter, but that doesn't mean he's healed. You know, I really like how Hiro Mishima is doing this gravity power, pulling on the concept of light and heavier and in void and more to show very vast amount of power. He is healing basically Shiki. Not completely, mind you. He doesn't say that his body is not healed. But he's making his pain lighter, meaning that he can move more. Imagine if Shiki can do that himself. And he even says that true gravity transcends even concepts. But it's here that he actually says something pretty interesting, so to speak. He says, it's the weight of the heart. It will sometimes allow you to make others fall inside you, others' hearts fall inside you, or sometimes attract a young woman from the future. Its power is that great. Now things are really getting interesting. The concept, as it says, it will allow your others' hearts to fall inside you. That we have already seen. The memories of Drakenjo fell into Shiki, as did the memories of Rebecca from before. This shows that he can read emotions, and it also shows that Shiki can read emotions if he learns that power. But it's the other line that is really big question. Sometimes attract a young woman from the future. Note, a young woman from the future. Further implication that Rebecca is more than what she knows. Are we saying that the Rebecca that we know is not Rebecca? What I'm trying to say is, wouldn't it be shocking if it turns out that the cat leaper power has actually been going on way longer than we think about it? What if it has been going on so much and this is the time? The Rebecca has been traveled to her past self so much that she has not even remembered. I mean, it's been confirmed that she has been getting into different worlds all the time in her life. But still, a young woman from the future will draw into Shiki of all places. The implication that Rebecca may very well have access to the future. So far she can flee from the future. But what if she can remember the future? Then that knowledge may very well save them one day. Either way, he concludes that the force is infinite. That makes it powerful as well as dangerous. And so we are switching back to Justice and Elsie, that despite having stabbed themselves, they're still fighting relatively fearlessly, even blasting away some robots as they're still fighting off each other. And even doing the signature attack of Grand Chariot. You know, here is where a lot of people complain, saying, oh, another Grand Chariot. You know, I just want to punch you guys in the faces if you keep on complaining about that. It's a signature move! It's a legacy move. Don't complain about that. Gran Shariotto has been going on ever since Raid Master, and it's always been used by the Siegfried clones. So don't complain about that. It's a signature move. As their attacks clash together, then suddenly Xenomyth says magimech attack, gravity center, and does a gravity center that is way more powerful than anything we have seen before. Well, that may not actually be true. Was that time when Dark Siggy used his, with a flick of his wrist, practically destroy the entire Grand Bell. Technically, this one is just flexing the robot arms, and what happens? Well, he actually forces almost everything down and neutralizes the robots as well, putting them down as well. Although some are actually withstanding that gravity way more, including, well, the Justice guys. Although the Justice guys actually drop Homura's ether cage, that may actually be a key to Saber, as he proclaims that he stopped them from moving a while, that's all. As then his hood falls down, he finally introduces himself, saying that he is indeed Senolith. But he's also saying that attack was indeed the magimech school of gravity martial arts. I am its founder, and Siggy was his student. We have at long last met Senolith, and just as we saw, the guy is not dead. Although this still raises some questions. Why does the record say he is dead? Is it possible that he once was human and now has transformed himself into a robot? In this very short, we also see that he's fairly short. You know what it actually reminded me of when I saw him in that, position, so to speak? He actually reminded me of Yoda. Yeah, that's why I call this chapter Gravity Yoda. His posture, his power, the way he appeared and presenting himself, the way he says he's a founder, and the way he is practically saying that Siggy, someone who's basically a Darth Vader-like ability now, was his student, although Yoda never technically trained Anakin Skywalker. It still is an amazing sight. This is a Yoda reference, really. Almost, at least. So, yeah. This chapter is just setups, but we see the depths, power of gravity. We actually did not really see if this stopped the Justice or Elsie, but whatever. And he's saying that this is the magimech martial arts, and he was his founder, and Siggy was his student. Are Shiki gonna get a training arc? Well, for some strange reason, he is too weak to handle the stronger opponents, and I hate that. He's supposed to be a main character. But here it goes back to what I said in the beginning. What if old wise could teach young wise? If it's very likely that Senolov will teach Shiki, that wouldn't actually be so far-fetched. The only problem with that would practically mean that Homura is going to be left in the dirt, because who can teach her? Her master is dead, unless of course she can access, her in the afterlife and learning the final secrets. I don't know. I just don't know. But what I do know is that the power of gravity is pretty versatile. And I am unsure how this arc will end. Muller needs to die, but there are so many implications that implies that this arc is actually going to end on a relatively tragic note, because so far nothing has really been resolved. And now the robots have gone even more berserk because of Muller. And if you ask me, that is just even more tragic, because that means the humans will not forgive the robots even more. So whatever happens this arc, I cannot see a happy end. The only solution I can see is Shiki actually getting to train on the Sinolith. I just hope that happens. So like and subscribe and give me a thoughts if you have any.